Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome back to the Redbird Rundown. I'm Andy here with Matt, Jonathan, and Scott. And if you're enjoying the show, please share us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can find us on our social media links in the description below. And also subscribe. Guys, that would help us watch us on YouTube, help us grow. Today's show is going to be centered around ZIPS projections, recently released by FanGraphs. And I will personally try my best, listener, to stay out of the negativity end of the ballpark because it is there. But let's look for some things that we can look forward to. Before we hop in, before we recorded, I hobbled in here, and I just want to see if any of the boys know where the piriformis is, what it does, and what it can affect, because it hurts on me right now. So, boys, we're going to open up with that. Piriformis, go for it.
Ooh.
Scott, I think you know.
I think I do. Former athlete. I'm putting the word former in front. I believe I had plenty of lower back hip issues. I believe the piriformis is across your right hip or your hip. And what I understood is if you put a lacrosse ball and put all your pressure on that lacrosse ball on that hip, you're going to open that thing right up, baby.
Oh. It's that sciatic. It's right next to sciatic nerve. It's right there. It's all
Is this
right
what LeBron is struggling with? He was out for sciatica for about a month or so in the NBA.
Probably piriformis. Get that sucker. Get that lacrosse ball out, LeBron.
Dang. I was just going to say, is it something that you would not want to show in public? Like, Andy, your piriformis is showing.
Yeah. No, you don't want it showing.
There would be the parental advisory.
Yeah, like, hey, buddy, your piriformis is out. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't think we have the explicit rating on Spotify and Apple, so we'll just...
Yeah, really, Andy, show us your piriformis. I'll tell you mine.
Really, it's at the top end of the squat when you bring those hips in. That's when that's happening. It's right through there, baby, and it hurts.
That's terrible.
All right, now that we got that out of the way and the listeners can think about their piriformis, let's talk some ZIPS, guys. It came out, and I kind of looked at last season and this season. Again, it's not trending upwards in most areas. There are some bright spots. Before we hop in all the way, Matt, can you give us a high school level, or perhaps explain it to me like I'm 5, explanation of what on earth is a ZIPS projection?
Well, the funny thing is, explaining things at high school level is often explaining them like you're 5 years old. Yeah. So besides just being a defunct fast food restaurant in the Southern Illinois area with really good fries, really good fries.
I was going to say that.
ZIPS is a projection system by one devilishly handsome man, Dan Zamborski. And he puts these out. So he takes data from the last 3 to 5 years of players, runs it through some kind of algorithm that probably rhymes with piriformis, and then gets out on the other side, what his computer thinks players will do in the future. So they're cool for it's kind of like a summary of where a guy has been. There's an aging curve he throws into it. This is not to be like the gospel truth on every player. Lots of players beat their projections every year. Some struggle to meet their projections, but it's just kind of like a baseline of how good is this player? Where is he at?
Yeah, and if you're like a cards fanatic, so I know Scott does some card collecting, some sports collecting, Pokemon collecting, whatever it is, it's kind of a standardization, right, of what people can look at so they all can kind of agree on the same thing, right? Is that kind of also a way of saying that? Is it's a bar that everyone can look at and be like, yeah, okay, it's somewhere around that.
It also gives us something to talk about in January.
That's true. Because how far are we until the pitchers and catchers show up, boys? How far is that?
Couple weeks.
This
episode's releasing on Sunday, February 1st. It's usually around Valentine's Day that the pitchers and catchers show up. Yeah, love is in the air.
Yes,
so the first thing that I would like to point out is that so this is a WAR prediction, right? It's like the wins above replacement, again, for those who are struggling with all the acronyms that float around in baseball's advanced metric system. And this, again, is just a look at how well are they going to do in a season. And the top producing WAR this year is our shortstop, one Mason Winn. Yes, at 3.5. Is that correct? So that should not be anyone's biggest surprise there. So, listener, we have been talking about Mason Winn. We have said that he wants to be the face of the franchise. He has the ability to. We dove into some of his offensive metrics. We were hoping that maybe his injury was holding him back at the plate. So let's go around the horn, starting with Jonathan, then Scott. Matt, go through maybe your biggest surprise in a positive light.
Well, first of all, I think the ZIPS projection stuff is really just kind of like food for thought. Like you look at it, and it's like, is this really going to happen? I don't know. Like you could look historically back at 2025 or 24 or 23, and it's pretty accurate, but sometimes it's not. So you kind of have to take it a bit as a grain of salt, because one thing that ZIPS does not do a very good job of, and Scott might talk to this, is predict playing time. So you'll see some of these guys, you'll see some minor leaguers have really high batting, like plate appearances. It's like, is that really going to happen? I don't know. It's kind of a large swath of a look at this. So my biggest positive was something to do with Mason Winn. When we look at the bottom of the ZIPS page, they start to compare him to other batters that have historically played. And his first hit comp's name is Bill Russell. So does that mean that the Cardinals are going to win 11 championships because
Yes.
Mason Winn is on the team? That's what I immediately thought. That's
Did
my
you
positive.
look up who is
No.
Bill Russell as a
No,
baseball
I
player?
honestly, I didn't even click on it because I just automatically was like, it's the guy from
It's the
Boston.
Celtics,
It's gonna
yeah.
be the Celtics forward who won all those titles. But really though, I just thought that was funny. His third comp is Jimmy Rollins as a hitting comp. And Jimmy Rollins is a borderline Hall of Famer. I don't know if he'll ever get in, but he's on the ballot and he's received votes enough to stay on the ballot. And Jimmy Rollins was really good for the Phillies for a long time. If Mason Winn plays the defense he plays and hits like Jimmy Rollins, he's also going to be a borderline Hall of Famer, right? So I was really like happy to see that. I thought his hitting comps would be a disaster, and Jimmy had some good years and some bad years, but I'll take that all day long. So I was really kind of surprised by that.
Well, I'll continue on the Mason Winn really quick before I pivot to another player. But I was looking at, he's the top-rated Cardinal player, so I wanted to see what that meant in comparison to the rest of the league, and where that
Oh, boy.
WAR puts him. And he is the highest-rated Cardinal, as of course, on the total league list. He is ranked as 34th in the league in terms of FWAR, so FanGraphs version of WAR. They project him to have a negative value offensively, but still a step forward, and the defense is still projected to be that main trait. So I was very surprised, but also I'm thinking he's still underrated at this point, being left off the MLB's top 10 shortstop right now ranking, which we can
For
talk
sure.
about if you'd like. But to be the 34th projected player by measure of FWAR, I feel like that puts you in some pretty good pretty good expectations.
It does. Let me hop in real quick. But doesn't that also, okay, so there's 30 baseball teams, and we have the top player that we have is 34th.
It means there's 20 teams and 11 Dodgers on the list.
Sure.
I was gonna say.
But I think that it should point that out, that's where we're at, right, as a macro level. Sorry, continue, Scott.
Yeah, well, for your fantasy football team, that means RB2.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So positivity, I want to point to, and this is someone that we've talked about briefly, but someone that I've been a little tough on, fairly or unfairly, but Victor Scott is projected to take another kind of, it says it's like looking kind of staying consistent, but when you look at the other numbers, the strikeout rate is projected to go down, the walk rate's projected to go up. As you know, we're talking about that aging curve. I think they also project that aging curve towards becoming more of a veteran player. So they're projecting him to have 8 homers, 39 stolen bases, which he set his goal at 70. So that might be
Gotta get on
going-
base, buddy.
right. Got to get on base, which they have him at 300. And I think that's where the conversation between where does Victor Scott and where do Mason Winn hit in the lineup, I think is going to do a lot for those projections. But I'm excited about what Victor Scott could bring. And excuse me, I think he could be that potential positive beyond what they're projecting him to be.
Okay, well, I would like big tub of cottage cheese Michael McGreevy to come on down for my biggest positive surprise. He is projected to be our best pitcher, which is, no shots at McGreevy, is kind of horrifying and scary. So he's got a 3.92 ERA and 155 innings pitched for his projection. And I got to tell you, I actually do like cottage cheese. We just bought a Ninja Creamy ice cream maker. I'm sticking it in the ice cream. It's actually pretty good. I just, for whatever reason, and I don't mean to turn this negative, I just don't believe in McGreevy that much. So it was really good to me to see a computer system that is, infinitely smarter than me spit out some projections from McGreevy that's like, nope, this guy's a major league pitcher. Now, if he's the best pitcher on our team going forward, we have like severe problems 3 to 5 years down the road. But for right now, for him to establish himself, I think that's wonderful, right? He's on the rookie contract, so he's cheap. Yeah. I was really heartened by his projection, but just coming from a huge McGreevy skeptic.
And listener, just as a reminder, and boys, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the Miles Michaelis 2.0, right? The junior version. Like he hits.
That's what I called him. Scott Johnson may think something different, but that's what I've called him.
Is that not a good comp of like who he is, as in he pitches to put the ball in play?
No, unfortunately, he even as fans were clamoring for him to be called up last year, it was just another one of those 92-mile-an-hour pitch to contact righties. But I've just had so much souring on Michaelis after being a positive person that I felt about. I just had too much
trauma,
too much negative thoughts towards Michaelis. So again, I hope he's enjoying his vacation in the Gulf of America.
Yep.
Oh, I hope he gets a hold of his boat. Okay.
Yeah. All right. My biggest I kind of disappointment, surprise, like negative. I'll lead it into that. Was once again, I told Scott if he saw Heim again to remind him about those positional power hitters, because ZIPS is not high on what Heim got for the trade. If you look at that, like pitchers, like the starting pitchers, it's not like, and I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I don't want to put too much expectation on Heim on what he traded away. But I mean, some of those things that I'm looking at is just like, oh, really? Like the back half of a rotation is like underneath 1 WAR and really, really close to just league average replacement players. That kind of felt deflating a bit. So I don't know what you guys have, but that's where mine was. Jonathan?
No, that's an interesting one. And I just, the only thing I'd say to you, Andy, on that is look at the minor league stuff we got, because let's hope that produces some real WAR. I mean, not that Richie Fitz and Dobbins aren't going to produce, but I think you're right. They're probably closer to just being replacement guys, maybe slightly better. I thought Szymborski nailed the starters column. When I looked at that, I just shook my head and I was like, yep, that looks exactly right. And Matt, comparing McGreevy to cottage cheese, I was holding on because I like cottage cheese, but I liked it. You landed that, so I like that. My negative, I only had one negative. I looked at the relievers, and reliever WAR is really weird, finicky.
So weird.
It doesn't make sense. You'd think like, oh, wow, Helsley and all these guys that we've had, it's going to be a super high number. They just don't collect WAR like the other guys. But I look at that group, and I look at 1.9, and I think it should be more than that. They're better than this. I really actually think the bullpen's pretty good. If you look at, you have the Frisbee slinger, O'Brien, right? You have JoJo, Swanson, and let's say Stanek and Fernandez rebound. We're hoping that they do. That's 5 really solid guys. 5 of them. That's over half your bullpen of really good guys. And it's a 1.9 WAR. Now, I think a lot of it is what's being drugged down at the bottom. There's a lot of rando, no name. We're not sure what we're going to get here. But if you compare our bullpen to something like the Padres, they have a really good bullpen. I just looked at them as an example. Their bullpen's pulling 3.5 WAR. That's just about 2 times what we had. Now, Mason Miller, the guy who throws like 130, that helps, right? But I don't know. I kind of was surprised that we wouldn't have a better projection from our bullpen, because I think that this year that will be another sneaky positive thing for us is our bullpen.
I want to bring back to what Andy was talking about with what we traded. I just looked at the guys that we traded and looked at their ZIPS projections. Starting with Nolan Arenado, we're talking about that bounce back. He's projected as 79 WRC plus with 16 homers. Bounce back for Arenado, but not relevant to anything that the Cardinals would need this year. Wilson Contreras looks like another Willie type year with a 119 WRC plus and 22 homers. Again, what you'd expect, and that's when you talked about the power, that's exactly what the Cardinals were missing, which is why I still miss him. And then Sonny Gray, 11-8 with a 3.74 ERA. So once again, fine, but where the Cardinals are right now, none of those three guys kind of fit into, well, two of the three guys don't really fit into what they're looking for. I'll talk about the bullpen later because I have some fun thoughts about that as well. But my negative kind of is just I guess this is what I expected, but Brendan Donovan's projection, I think that is going to show that this is who he is. He's projected 114 WRC plus. Oh, by the way, I know we talked about playing time projections. If you have the ability to go to ZIPS DC, it takes in the depth chart for the current roster and then tries to alter the games and projections based on what that looks like. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here. They project Donovan to play 134 games, 273 batting average. Okay, Mr. Consistent, but 12 homers, 59 RBIs. Cardinals are lacking power. I love Donnie. 10 years ago, lifetime Cardinal, sign him for however much he wants. For right now, this is showing that maybe as Cardinals fans, we are overvaluing him. How much value do we put in the clubhouse, camaraderie portion of it? Which again, if they don't trade Donovan, that's fine. But when we're talking about the two top 100 prospects, or give me this guy that's major league ready, a 273, 12 homer, 59 RBIs, isn't that build around guy. That's the guy that finishes a competitive team's roster.
That's a great point. So my negative, it's funny that you guys were going in positive on Mason Winn, and I also love Mason Winn. I was a little dejected by his offensive, production as far as his projections went. The 92 OPS plus, I just was hoping for more. Now, what I said earlier about the projection systems being kind of a summation of where he's been, that is kind of where he has been. I think we're all hoping on this podcast that better health, the back, the knee, stuff like that will lead to a better offensive performance for him. I mean, 3.5 WAR is really cool, and the elite defense is amazing. I'm just hoping to see the growth at the plate. So I was a little bit deflated by Wynn's offensive projections.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I would agree.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a swing and a miss from ZIPS. This could be Copium from Cardinals fans here.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, did you know that there is a town in New Mexico called Truth or Consequences?
I can't wait to see where this is going.
Okay. I did not know this. I was reviewing some spelling words with one of the students at school, and I was just staring at the big map of the United States as she was spelling to me. And I just landed in New Mexico, and there's a town called Truth or Consequences, and I had to look it up, and it's there. And I think that I have some of them missing residents that live in my school because they don't tell the truth, and there are consequences. So but the trust and skepticism is the next segment that we have, and so we're going to basically talk about whether there's truth or is there consequences. What are we going to do to the creator of ZIPS, I guess, is we're going to ship him off to New Mexico.
Full circle.
So let's go reverse. Let's go with Matt first on this. Is there something that you saw in this projection that you're like, I don't know if you got that right? Or perhaps the flip side, what was like, I think you got that spot on?
I have one of both. Do you want my truth or my skepticism first?
Truth or consequences, baby. Go for it.
Okay, truth. I'm going to echo Scott. Donnie's projection, 273, 349, 402, 113 OPS plus. This is what he is. Above average defense. You can plug him in basically everywhere. He can probably pitch the 8th inning for you too, right, as far as that goes. So, Scott, I think it's so interesting. And I did see an article recently on Redbird Rants, shouts to Thomas Govain, about whether Heim needs to come off of his astronomical asking price for Donnie. In it, he is I also love Donnie. I love the locks. I love the helmet flying off. I love the whole shtick. But he's just like a very good complementary piece. Yeah. And maybe Heim really needs to cash in right here because it looks like to me he's just going to keep being the same player, that kind of fringy all-star at sort of a weak position in the MLB, and maybe we do just need to cash in and get off of it.
All right, I'll stick with truth then as well. I'm going to roll off of last week's episode and go with our boy Burley Biscuits, projected at a 274, 21 homers, 78 RBIs. I think that is exactly kind of what we all put into that expectations as well. Seeing the 21 homers is a good thing. Team leader of 78 RBIs. I mean, I don't know what that says more about the team, but Burleson being that guy. We talked about where he's going to hit in the lineup. That's going to kind of depend on where, again, that Winn and Victor Scott, I think. But the kind of other part about Burleson is they have him as at a negative 11 defensive value. I think that could be something that he could go up, concentrating on first base for the entire season.
Andy, you're cackling at the defense. What's going on over there?
Can you imagine? Like, do you think that the players look at that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what he's like? What the heck, dude? You did me dirty.
-11. Come on,
Right.
Borski.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Golly. Okay, I'll go with trust too. And I know we mentioned OPS plus. We don't talk about that very often around here. That is a little bit of a different metric than WRC plus, which we talk about all the time. OPS plus is just on base plus slugging. WRC plus adds like weighted on base and some other different metrics. So OPS plus is more of like a traditional, does he get on base and does he hit doubles, triples, home runs? That's really it. So that's what Matt was referencing with Winn. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And the thing that I trust is our top 3 projected hitters based on that OPS plus being Ivan, Burley, and Donnie, with Newt kind of sniffing at his heels. That feels correct to me. Until we don't know anything about JJ right now. We don't know if he's going to come take the club by storm. We think so. We hope so. But it's hard to project someone who's never taken a major league at bat. So I think those 3 guys being our top projected hitters, it just makes sense to me. I trust that that's going to be the case. I don't feel like there's going to be anyone else that's going to uproot that unless it is John Jamerson Weatherholt, which that's not his name. But
all right. Yeah. Is there anything that you would say are consequences or sniff out of, I don't know if this is necessarily true. I'll go first, and it kind of also relates to underperformer, overperformer. So I guess I'm shipping Ivan Herrera. I think that I would meet that with the most skepticism. Again, that could be absolute Cardinal bias and copium, but I would say that if there's a player to me that they got the most wrong, it would be hopefully him. That's what I'm going to go with. So, Matt, let's do it.
Oh, I have consequences skepticism. Now, Scott just introduced me, I'll be honest, to ZIPS DC. I was using the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of it. They have a projection for Miles Michaelis in our ZIPS. No. They have him throwing 129 innings with a 4.86 ERA, and that is just going to be a no for me. Absolutely not. No way. If something like that happened, I got so scared of this, I had to go Google real quick Miles Michaelis 2026 Cardinals to make sure I didn't miss a piece of news that we signed him. If they do that, I will not watch one game this year at all. Period. I'm done.
Matt, that was the projections for the beer league. Did you not see that?
Oh, I'm not even sure. I think it's for the projections for the Gulf of America League. I mean, I can't. I just won't be able to do it. I won't be able to do it. I just won't. So that's it.
You could catch him at
Cardinals. You will lose a fan.
That's big consequences.
Okay. Yeah.
You could catch Michaelis at Willow Stream Park in Buffalo Grove, Illinois, in the over 18 league.
There you go.
Probably. I'll go skepticism towards positivity. So I'm not sure if that's kind of where this is going. But looking at the bullpen, I kind of talked about earlier. If you sort by ZIPS DC and go through saves, Riley O'Brien is the leader in the clubhouse with 16 saves, and then Jojo Romero with 14, and then Matt Swanson with 6. The Jojo thing is something that we're going to have to revisit at some point. We haven't heard much about his trade market, but he's really the only lefty option. So it makes sense to a point that he isn't the closer kind of per se because of that lefty, needing to have that matchup potential. Seeing O'Brien with 16 saves over Swanson, I wrote an article on Viva Alberto's talking about should Swanson be the closer or should he be the Kyle Leahy firefighter? This kind of shows that they're projecting him to be in that firefighter role with Riley O'Brien kind of supplanting him as that closer in this year where maybe O'Brien tries to rebuild that value and Swanson just tries to keep maintaining whatever role and proving that he is going to be that next guy after that. So that's my bullpen portion. But let's go to, and everybody was waiting for, Jordan Walker. All right.
Ooh.
You go to ZIPS DC.
Andy, were you waiting for this?
And we have
gone.
lost our host, everyone, for that's
He's
not
gone.
watching, not on the audio version. Andy is now gone. He just needed
He's
to walk off his piriformis. But to Andy's, I guess,
Chagrin.
projection. Well, Jordan Walker is the lowest projected Cardinal on the ZIPS DC with a negative 0.1 F-WAR, and that is behind Cesar Prieto, Matt Koperniak, Nathan Church, Brian Torres, going down the list. But if I told you that going at the end of this year that Jordan Walker hit 232 with 14 homers, would that inspire some bit of, okay, let's run it back again? Because they're also projecting a strikeout rate of those sliders low and away down to a 26%, walk rate going to that 7.5. I think they're a little low on the stolen bases because he stole 7 in the second half of last year. They have him at 9. The defensive value, whatever that rate that goes, but a negative 7 offensive value for 232 and 14 homers is interesting to me for an 88 WRC plus from Jordan Walker, who put up a 66 WRC plus last year. So that's where my skepticism is, that I think that's wrong, because that being a negative season for someone for Jordan Walker, I think we'd have to look at that differently as Cardinals fans.
Yeah, boy,
Andy,
man,
long live Jordan Walker. Long live Jordan Walker.
I need Jonathan to talk right now.
All right, I'll take us out of Walker land. I'm going to talk about Burley, because this was the single most ridiculous thing I saw on this whole FanGraphs ZIPS thing. They projected him at 1.8 WAR. Okay, with a better offensive season, playing a more natural defensive position. He posted 1.9 WAR last year in the outfield, doing I don't know what he was doing. There is literally no chance he does not beat this. There's no chance. He's going to be better at first base. He may not be a positive WAR over there, Scott. You already kind of shot his hopes and dreams down by saying it was a minus 10 on the defensive side.
Well,
right?
That was wrong.
That's what they
said
say.
That was wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have already said that's what they've projected.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to be possible. I don't think he's going to be maybe plus, but there's no way he's going to be as bad as he was in the outfield. So I think for sure he beats this 1.8 WAR. And I think if he's just a league average first baseman, you could see a 2.5 WAR to 3 WAR guy. I couldn't believe that, truly, when I saw this, that 1.8, and I looked down and I'm like, this is worse than he was last year. How is that possible?
So, Jonathan, is that going to be your overperformer then? Is Burley on the defensive side? Is that what you have?
He was one of them. He was one of them. Yep.
Who's someone else you have?
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna manifest JJ Weatherholt being awesome right away.
Oh,
you're
do stealing my point.
Well, okay, I'll stop then. I'm gonna stop.
No, go ahead.
I'm just kidding. I had another one. No, I just think he's gonna be awesome. I looked at his projections, and they're pretty much, I mean, they're good, right? 2.9 WAR, that's amazing. That's just following Mason Winn. What if he comes up and he's like a 4.5 WAR player immediately, and he hits like 340 or something nuts? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if he comes up and he's just awesome and he wins a batting title? I don't know. I'm just trying to put it out there that, yes, I think Burley's going to be great. Yes, I think there's some other guys that are going to beat this. But I just want to believe that JJ is going to come up and finally not be a prospect that hits 100, $120 for 3 weeks. I think he's just going to come up and be amazing.
Can I use a different analogy, different sports analogy, to say that these things happen? Like football happens. Like we had.
Oh, is it Baker Mayfield?
No, I mean no.
Dang.
It's going to be a L.A. Rams comp here,
Okay.
The fact that everyone was Cooper Kupp, and then who is this Puka Nacua guy and comes on and destroys the league and receiving yards. It's things like that. They also had defensive guys, Jared Verse, stuff like that. It's just people come out of left field is what I'm getting at too, and I want to hop onto that train, Jonathan. People come out of nowhere, and the Cardinals need someone who can come out of nowhere and just be like, oh my gosh, thank you. Yes, this is a rookie that is absolutely crushing it.
If JJ turns into Puka Nacua, we're good.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't slated to be like. Also, I read this Reddit forum that went back and looked at the top 5 projected prospects from 5 years ago and where they are today, and it's just like, the number one guy is the guy that got arrested for touching little kids down. What's the guy, the shortstop from
Wander Franco?
That's the one. That was the number one overall prospect.
For reference.
The other four are people I don't have a clue who they are. That doesn't. I mean, that's a casual fan. You guys might have a clue, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, things like this are busts sometimes, and also people who they're like, oh yeah, it's a 5th rounder, come through, and it's like, oh, that's Tom Brady actually. I want to believe, Jonathan. That's my point. I want to believe, baby. I want to believe in the whole.
He's on with me.
Well, let's load up the Weatherholt train because he's my overperformer too. They have him at 100 OPS plus. Jonathan explained OPS super well. The plus part just normalizes it to everything. So they think he's going to have exactly a league average OPS. That's pretty typical when you see first-year players, those types and styles of projections. I just think that Weatherholt is going to beat that. I really have no doubt about that. I am going to be so depressed, almost as depressed as if the Cardinals re-sign Miles Michaelis. If Weatherholt comes up and just can't find his footing, just can't get it going, because I think the floor is so, I don't know exactly how high the ceiling is, but I think the floor is so high with him, with his on-base skills. And he just went to Memphis and just grew power because he wanted to. So I really think this guy's a special talent, and I think he's a lock to beat that 100 OPS plus. Scott, are you on the train, or you got somebody else?
Get on the train.
Oh, I'm very happy with that Jordan or JJ Weatherholt train.
No, don't say it.
No. I just don't have much to add. I wanted to kind of put this in. They only have him projected at 86 games. I think we see more than that.
Yes.
So my overperformer is going to be the team, but I'm not talking about win. I'm not talking about wins, which I think they're at 77.
He's at moral victories, boys. He's at moral victories.
No, I am talking about base running and stolen bases. Right now, like I said, they have Victor Scott at 39. I think he's going to surpass that and more, especially when you talk about him having 94 stolen bases in the minors. He had 34 last year already. Mason Winn's projected at 13. We've talked about the back, the knee. Why not 20? Herrera's at 10. I think that could be kind of accurate, especially if he catches a little bit more. But then you got Weatherholt at 9, again at 86 games. Gonna bump that up to maybe 10, 12, 15. Jordan Walker at 9. Then double digits, but then our boy Burley Biscuits, I think Matt got Jonathan, you got the base running run value. They have him at 6 swipes.
That's what I'm talking about.
And he's hit 9 before. So I think we have the potential to see potentially 6 Cardinals hit double digit stolen bases. And that's something that they're going to need to do to be that exciting, fun team that we've been clamoring for.
Burley, get those biscuits in gear.
Yeah, slay them.
It's like, who was it? The on base, Jordan Walker. That's what it was. It's like the meme that's been going around right now in basketball, where like one of the players asked for a trade, and the GM literally said, "There's got to be a market."
Yeah.
You gotta get on base, buddy.
Yeah. We've kind of, and I was gonna mention this in overperformer, but I went with JJ just because I wanted to be super like hopeful about something, but. I listened to an interview with Victor Scott the other day. It's out there. I think it's on MLB.com. But he talked about how he went back to his college campus, West Virginia, and had like a total deep dive on his swing, his mechanics. Scott, I think he mentioned this in winter warm-up maybe a little bit. But it's really interesting to hear him talk about how I guess someone who, I can't remember the name of the job, but they just study the human body. And they're engineers, and they use these people to break down like how your body is like exploding to the baseball. And he said that this woman didn't know really anything about baseball and told him like, "Hey, I see based on your swing, you probably are hitting the ball to second base a lot on the ground." That's literally what she said. And he was like, "Okay, yes, that's true." And then she's like, "And you probably don't explode very hard against curveballs. You have trouble with that." And he was
Are
like,
you sure
and
this
he's
wasn't
a funny
Miss
guy.
Cleo, the phone psychic that he was talking to?
No, it's funny to hear him talk about it because he's like, as soon as she was saying these things, I was locked in. I was like, wow, she knows me exactly. So I guess they have just rearranged his swing, reorchestrated it so that he uses his athleticism more. And he's like, I was so tired of hitting the ball to second base, and I'm paraphrasing. But I thought, wow, that is so accurate because that's what he did a million times. He said, no matter how fast I was, I just hit the ball on the ground to second base. So I hope in my, another overperformer we've kind of talked about in a little bit, I hope it is Vic. And I wanted to sneak this in here because if he's good, everybody's just, freaking out about PCA. if Vic gets on base and steals 70 bases, I don't know what to tell you. That is like a 5-WAR player with that defense out there. So he's sneaky. Like, if he actually changes this, he might be insane.
Do you think this lady at West Virginia, can she do this in other realms of society? Like, can I send her some of my teaching tape and she can tell me, like, if I'm exploding to my point or not? Like, did I just miss my window on this?
Man,
What
can
is
you
this
imagine
lady?
someone who does not know anything about sports and just nail you dead on with your problems by looking at just like your mechanics? That's impressive.
Unreal.
That is.
So, do we have any takers on $100 over/under bets? Does anybody want to toss out a bet that we'd like to go to any of the 8,000 sports betting sites and place a bet on?
Absolutely, I've got one. I'll go do it right now as soon as we get off if you want. It is JJ Weatherholt over or under 10 home runs, and I'll take the over on that. He's going to hit more than 10 home runs for the Cardinals. To Scott's point, he's going to play more than 86 games. I still don't know if he's going to be up on opening day. I think if Donovan is on the team, there's a chance he's not up on opening day, but I think he plays more than 120 games, and I think he hits more than 10 home runs. And I will go put 100 fat Stevie dollar bills on JJ Weatherholt. That got weird. Over 10 home runs.
I did get a little weird. I don't need anything hot and steamy on him.
Where did those $100 bills come from that made him hot and steamy?
Oh, Andy's the back thing that I can't think of right now. What's it called?
What? The sciatica? The piriformis?
Yeah, Andy's piriformis. Just pulled him right out there.
That mug's crusty.
Man. I don't
Scott, you
really
got a bet?
I don't really have an over/under because I just said I would probably place $100 on everybody's stolen bases over. But I just wanted to point to sneak that in there that nobody mentioned Nolan Gorman at all. And he's projected to be the team leader in homers at 24. And that means he's playing in 122 games. That means they're finding somewhere, whether that's DH or something. And a 24 homer season from Nolan Gorman, I think, is a positive that we would look for. As far as over and under, I want to see the team get 100 stolen bases.
My actual over under involved Nolan Gorman, and this is my over under bet. Sorry,
let's hear it.
Okay,
you're going under.
Well, it involves Nolan Gorman. Okay, take the $100 bet that Nolan Gorman strikes out more than Jordan Walker this season. All right.
Oh,
wow!
Is anybody got to take that bet?
That's a fun one.
That is a fun one.
Come back to me next
time
week, and we can talk about that. Like, we could do a Jordan Walker versus Nolan Gorman comparison over under.
Who's worse? Ooh.
Wow! Hey, come on!
No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
We are
right.
fans.
You're right. You're right.
I
won't tell you who my underperformer was that I had. Carmen. Sorry. I don't know what I'd take, Andy, on that. I don't know what I'd take. Because I just can't get the image of Walker flailing at things. Because Gorman did fix his high fastball strikeout issue. He kind of did. So I've seen him fix it. I've never seen Walker fix anything. So I'm going to go with Gorman being better right there.
Do you have a $100 bet, Jonathan?
I do. I kind of said it earlier. I think I'd put 100 whatever you want on this. Burley's going to be better than 1.9 more.
Okay.
I just believe that. I don't know what to tell you. I cannot believe that they've just shunned my boy like this. He's not even my boy. I can't believe it. Like, he's got to be better on defense at first base. And I'm surprised they projected him so low. So I'm going to take 100 I don't knows, whatever you want, and I'm going to put it on Burley being better.
All right, so let's finish out with as spicy take as you can muster, which is usually my forte, and I'll save mine for last.
Shoot.
Matt, we'll start with you. Give me a spicy takeaway that is bold and is going to put our mouths on fire.
Oh, okay. Well, this is positive. It's good. We're going to have 3 All-Stars, 3 of them. They are going to be named JJ Weatherholt, Ivan Herrera, and Alec Burleson are all going to trample all over their projections. We're going to have 3 All-Stars for a not very good team, which means those guys are going to have to perform really, really well. So that is my spicy take, and just slide the sriracha on that and slide that down the gullet.
Okay, can I ask real quick? Where is JJ playing? Where is he an All-Star?
Doesn't matter. Second base, but doesn't matter.
Well, I'm gonna run. I took this a little different direction. You said spicy take. Then you said your mouth's gonna be on fire, and my spicy take coming into this was lip balm is a scam. So I've never used it.
You after?
Okay, so here's the thing. I've never used it. Then I shaved my face, and then I get this, dryness in my skin, and now I had to put some chapstick on, and now every 45 minutes I have to put chapstick on after never using it before. So if I had to give a spicy take going back to the Cardinals, I'm gonna put that Swanson and Swanson's gonna have 20 saves.
Okay.
I do love that you took one spicy take and just went straight for the heart of all chapstick people.
They are the most upsetting people, I think, because they don't see the truth that's laying in front of them.
Okay. Well, we can
Scott,
fight
let me
later.
ask you real quick. I have said before on this podcast before we teamed up that I kind of think raw pound for pound Matt Swanson is the best pitcher on the team. Is that crazy to you? Like just stuff, results, all of it.
Well, not just because I just found out that a family friend of mine worked with his dad for about 20 years since he grew up here, and I'm going to try to work on getting Matt Swanson in some way or capacity to have a conversation. But when you look at it, he was the closer in Springfield. He was the team leader and then the saves there. If he can establish more of that strikeout stuff, I think so. But if he does become that Kyle Leahy, he does have a little bit of starting experience to where maybe he could then become that project, maybe not next year because he could probably still stick in that reliever role, but maybe 2 years from now as that rotation continues their shift, we could hear him being the Kyle Leahy conversation, which could then end up to him being the most valuable Cardinal in the rotation.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, you guys aren't going to believe what my takeaway is that Swanson takes over as the closer role before the All-Star break. Isn't it funny? I believe that. I think he's the best guy we have in the bullpen, and I love JoJo and I love Riley O'Brien, but every time Swanson came out, he was just absolutely disgusting. Every time. He didn't look like he was overmatched. He didn't walk a bunch of people. He just pounded the zone, and he made guys look silly. And whether he turns that into being a starter, which would be unbelievable, I think he's going to take over. I do. Because you can see where Riley maybe has some erratic behavior at times, where he just like whenever your pitches break 3 feet a direction, it's hard to place him in the strike zone. So I think Swanson, I think that just makes sense to me that he would be the closer. Andy, please. Let's hear it.
Well, it's not that far out there. Okay.
Knock our Paraformis back into gear here.
Okay. Move the sciatic over. All right. So I am gonna take our ginger friend Dustin May. As the fact that I think he is going to be the pitching staff equivalent of like a Jared Verse or Puka Nakua, and he's going to come out and be the strikeout leader for the Cardinals this season. That's what I'm going to have as my spiciest take. I think that he's got more K power than anybody else up there, and he's going to bounce back. And I'm going to say, boys, I'm going to put a number on it. I'm going to say he's going to get 150 strikeouts this year.
Okay.
I love it. I absolutely love that.
Can I just ask something before we go here? I think we'll do an over-under pod pretty soon with team projected wins. Looking at these ZIPS or, ZIPS Marvel or ZIPS DC projections, where is your head right now and your heart in terms of the number of wins the Cardinals have? Because I thought it was interesting in Zamborski's article that he does before the numbers come. He basically said, this is like a picture-perfect 500 team. Like we're just kind of solid all the way around. And I thought, boy, 81 and 81, I don't think that's what people expect from the Cardinals this year. But I could see that being the case. Like, I just don't know how much worse we are despite trading these veterans. So I was kind of in that 75 to 80 sort of win range. Is that where everybody's at, or are you guys vastly different?
I think 81 would be an incredible win for this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 81 is too high. But when it comes to these over-unders, you could lose if they won 79, which is 2 games away. True. I don't know how much worse we will be from next year because you can get into it and we will, but when you trade Michaelis and Fetty for somebody who's just league average, those guys were worse than that, right? Or you maybe hope that Walker is not just a complete albatross and he's a little bit better, or some of these guys are just league average. League average, if you think about it, is probably 500. Like, if you think about that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's not under, it's not over, it's just right at it. But him saying that, Matt, I agree. I read that, and I was like, wow, this doesn't feel like a 500 team to me. Mm-hmm. But I would take it, and I think that would be over what I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 72 wins. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't think we're that good. I think that I'm going to live in truth, not consequences, a portion of New Mexico. All right. Well, thanks for tuning into the Redbird Rundown, guys, your go-to source for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Be sure to subscribe and review the show. It really helps us grow. Follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and for all those latest updates, keep those rally caps on, and let's go Cards.
Paraformis.
Thanos snap.